A deer was trapped on a frozen lake. What a stranger did to save it went viral. It was a bitterly cold morning in early winter when Emma first noticed the deer. She had been driving along the winding country road, wrapped in layers to ward off the chill, the engine of her old car humming steadily against the still, frosty air. Snowflakes danced in the wind, swirling in the sky like forgotten secrets. The world outside was silent, as if holding its breath. But then, as Emma neared the frozen lake, she saw something that shattered the calm. A young deer, its fur matted and dirty, was trapped in the middle of the lake. Its hooves slid futilely on the ice, and it was evident that it couldn't find its way to the shore. The deer was clearly panicking, its breath visible in the icy air as it struggled with each step. Emma slammed on the brakes, her heart lurching. She had no idea how long the deer had been out there, but with each passing second, the chances of survival seemed to dwindle. The ice beneath the deer groaned, shifting slightly as the weight of its movements threatened to crack it further. Emma's mind raced. She couldn't just drive away. She couldn't leave the poor creature to freeze, but what could she do? Without a second thought, she threw the car into park and grabbed her phone. She dialed the local animal rescue service, but the voice on the other end told her it would be at least an hour before anyone could arrive. Time was running out. Then, as Emma stood there helplessly, she saw him, a figure in a dark winter coat, walking across the frozen expanse of the lake toward the deer. He didn't seem like a man prepared for a rescue mission. He was tall, his face partially obscured by a woolen scarf, his breath coming out in great puffs. He was an older man, maybe in his late 50s, with a kind of quiet confidence that Emma found striking. But it wasn't until he took his first step onto the ice that she realized what he was doing. The man was walking directly toward the deer, moving with purpose but not haste. His boots crunched softly on the frozen surface as he made his way toward the animal, and Emma's heart raced. What was he doing? The ice could crack at any moment. Without thinking, Emma began running toward the lake, shouting at the man, "You can't go out there, it's too dangerous." But her voice was swallowed up by the howling wind. The man didn't stop. He didn't even turn to acknowledge her. With each step, the deer's panic seemed to grow. It pawed at the ice, trying to push itself forward, but it was stuck, its hooves unable to find purchase. The man was getting closer, and Emma felt a sense of dread settle in her chest. Was he crazy? Was he willing to risk his life for this animal? Just as the man was a few feet away from the deer, the ice creaked ominously beneath him. Emma screamed, her voice cracking, but the man kept walking. He was closer now, mere inches from the deer, and with one swift motion, he reached out. He grabbed the deer's fragile neck and gently tugged it toward him. The deer froze, its wide, panicked eyes locking with his, and for a moment, the world stood still. Emma watched in disbelief as the man continued to guide the deer slowly but steadily toward the shore. It was a battle against time, against the frozen lake that threatened to swallow them both. The ice cracked again, louder this time. Emma's heart pounded in her chest. She thought for sure the man would fall through. She thought the deer would slip and crash into the icy waters. But the man didn't falter. He kept a firm but gentle grip on the animal, pulling it toward safety. With one last, terrifying crack of ice, the man and the deer reached the edge of the lake. The deer collapsed onto the snow-covered ground, its legs shaking, but it was safe. The man collapsed beside it, gasping for breath, his hands trembling as he stroked the deer's wet fur. Emma, still frozen in place, finally found her voice. "Are you okay?" she shouted, though she was still too far away to reach him. The man looked up, his face flushed from the cold, but with a look of quiet satisfaction in his eyes. "I think we're both okay," he said, his voice raspy. The deer, now breathing steadily, nuzzled his hand. Emma rushed forward, her legs burning with the effort to run through the snow. When she reached them, she stopped short, her breath catching. That was incredible," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The man gave her a faint smile. "I've spent my life on these lakes. I know the ice. I knew it would hold." He looked at the deer, whose trembling had stopped. And sometimes, when an animal is lost, it just needs someone to believe in it, to show it the way. Emma knelt beside the deer, her hands reaching out to touch its coat. She couldn't believe it. This stranger, this man she had never met, had saved a life today, against all odds. Without thinking, Emma pulled out her phone and took a quick picture. The image, frozen in time, would become the key to something bigger. She posted it on social media, sharing the remarkable moment with the world. And within hours, the story went viral. People from all over the world were moved by the selfless act. Some praised the man's bravery, others marveled at the bond between humans and animals. The hashtag #Deer Rescue spread like wildfire, and news outlets picked up the story, calling it a miraculous act of compassion.